This is that time of the year when you have to get admissions into a top college, and if you are in Delhi, you're in big trouble because you better have close to 100% marks. That's right, the final cut-off, the first cut-off list came out today for the 2015 academic session, and Economics Honours seems to be the top course. SRCC demanding a minimum of 98.25 in its first cut-off list. The BCom Honours course is also a top draw, requiring a minimum of 98% at the Ladies Shriram College. The cut-off for English Honours, again at LSR, 98%. Even a BA Honours course at Kidodimal College requires a minimum of 98%. What's certain is that many of us certainly wouldn't have got into college with these cut-offs. That's the reality that we've got to face. So what do students do? Joining me now is Reverend Balsan Thampu, Principal of St. Stephen's College, and Zubin Malhotra, Career Counsellor, joins us. Appreciate both of you joining us. Reverend Thampu, 98% for a course in economics? I mean, what are we coming to?
Well, Rajdeep, I understand that in certain courses it has got above 100. And when that happens, it should not be called cut-off. It should be properly called decapitation. Now, I personally believe that this is completely avoidable. This is artificial, this is contrived, and this is cruel. We can avoid it, but unfortunately the will to avoid this is lacking, and that's our problem.
Now, who's going to summon that will? I mean, you're using strong words here. Who's going to summon the will? What is it that a student who even gets, let's say, 90% today can't get a course of his or her choice? Who has to take those hard choices now?
Well,
colleges?
Rajdeep, it is the state's duty to provide adequate educational facility of some quality and standard to the youth of this country. Why is it that we are remaining where we were years ago in respect of providing facilities and opportunities for higher education? I can't believe that it is because we don't have resources. We have plenty of money. What we do not have is the will to use this money properly.
You know, that is part of the problem, that we don't have the will to use the money properly. There's a larger systemic crisis. But from a student's point of view, what is the real solution here? What does a hapless student who, as I said, even gets 90% today, can't get a course of his or her choice?
Absolutely. And it's disheartening, it's cruel, and it's feeding into a system which is just driving kids from, when they're 8 and 9 and 10 into the arms of coaching centers and tuition classes.
What's the solution? What's the solution?
The solution is, actually, this is a supply problem. There are many contributory things to it. The university has made applications much easier. They've gone online. So, of course, students from all over the country can apply sitting in their rooms, right? So, obviously, the number of applicants has more than doubled over the last 3 years if you actually look at it at Delhi University. The boards, in order to have objective marking systems, have become very formulaic in the way that and model answers are issued to teachers, and students are pretty much mugging them up and reproducing them by rote. Now, the problem is that there isn't enough supply, as Dr. Thampu is talking about.
So it's a demand-supply problem.
It is a demand-supply problem. It's also a perception problem that where, and the media panders to this. The headlines only come for Delhi University. The higher salaries at IITs are the ones that only get highlighted. There aren't enough other success stories that are being highlighted, which to students and parents' minds are saying, hey, if we don't get into DU, it's not the end of the world. There are enough other good opportunities. And let me just put a sane word here, especially for students who are actually looking for admission. This is just the bachelor's level. Your career isn't made or broken by what you do at the undergraduate level. It's more of where and what you do at the postgraduate level, and therefore you still do have another shot.
Those are sane words, but there's this enormous peer pressure which is created, and cut-offs only build that peer pressure. Give me an alternative system, Reverend Thampu. What is your ideal alternative system to this cut-off system at the moment?
Rajdeep, I don't believe that is only a supply problem. It is also a problem related to very, very different standards available within the same university. In Delhi University, for example, why is it that there is such a rush to get admitted to certain colleges, and why is it that certain colleges are almost avoided? We have not succeeded in standardizing education. That's one issue. The other issue is that we have not been able to maintain a healthy work culture in our institutions.
What's the
So,
alternative? I'm asking.
if I were to,
Reverend Kampu, I'm asking you to give me an
suggest,
alternative to the cut-off system.
yeah, I will. Yeah, I will suggest. I will suggest. First of all, we have to increase the number of seats. If you keep the number of seats stagnant, and students come up with better performances in terms of marks year after year, it is only natural that the cutoff goes up. It's simple common sense. Now, for example, I would make, through your channel, an appeal to the Chief Minister of Delhi to ensure that there is at least one college per assembly segment. There are 70 assembly constituencies in Delhi. Why is it that we cannot have at least one college per constituency? The second thing I would certainly argue is that Delhi University must deregulate admission. I think it has created a very, very confusing system. Online facility may look all right, but this heavily centralized admission system is creating a lot of avoidable confusion.
Okay.
I also want to emphasize that Delhi University is unviable in terms of its size. Ideally, no university should enroll more than 50,000 students. So we need to have many more universities in Delhi, many more colleges, and no college should have more than 1,000 students, because quality of education depends on the size of the institution. This is where St. Stephen's College has resisted pressures year after year to keep the numbers small so that we can ensure quality education.
Okay.
Now, I also want to say this. I also want to say this with some degree of pain. Rather than other institutions being encouraged to emulate the model of St. Stephen's College, the attempt I see afoot everywhere is to try and bring St. Stephen's College down and down. I don't understand.
We'll debate that. We'll debate St. Stephen's problems on another day. That we'll leave for another debate.
No. That's it. No, forgive me. This issue has a direct bearing on the issue you're discussing. Why are you running away from this problem?
Okay.
It's because of this negative attitude.
Right.
It's because of this negative attitude
I take your point. I will try and do a longer debate on this sometime next week. I want to bring you all both in face to face with students and reflect on this with students. They are the real sufferers. I'm going to try and do that next week. But